For that introduction. And thank you, everyone. Good afternoon. And thank you for having me today. As Karen said, I work with EVNoire. We're a consultancy and advocacy group for everything autonomous mobility, electric mobility, infrastructure, dabbling into drones and just everything with a battery in it. So we're really excited to talk to you all today again about the two workplace charging programs. So I'm going to share my screen here for everyone. Please let me know if you can see it okay. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to be talking today about workplace charging. So obviously, we know about charging at home. We know about charging in the wild. You've probably seen a charging station, a Tesla charging bay, a number of these things out in the wild. So one of the biggest components we think that's going to be necessary for us to really get to the EV future that we want is charging at workplaces. I'll go into a number of reasons why workplace charging specifically, but just consider it kind of the third frontier here that we need to tackle in terms of developing EV infrastructure. So with this, we're going to go a little bit about workplace charging. We'll talk about why more companies are now looking for workplace charging. We'll talk about what we call the new normal and what is going to be expected and not necessarily a luxury from workplace charging. And we'll talk about why workplace charging is easy to get involved with, easy to start, easy to install once you get past the initial hurdles. And we'll talk about what the benefits are to both the employees and the employers. And then we'll touch on next steps. I want to leave this with you all today and actually give you actionable items, answer your questions, and actually give you things to go forth with and talk to your constituents about, talk to your coworkers about, and talk to other stakeholders about to really help develop this. And I like to always kind of start these presentations off by saying that I have nothing to sell you. I'm not a used car salesman. I have no products to sell you. So I want us to be able to have a transparent and open conversation. Your likes, your dislikes, your concerns, whatever the situation is, you will not be paying me any money. I have nothing to sell you. These programs are Department of Energy funded, and they are completely free to you to use. They're for the purpose of actually garnering more support and showing that there is support for electrification from not just enthusiasts and individuals like myself, but from actual companies, actual municipalities, and organizations. So we'll jump right into it. So forecasts for electric vehicle sales in the United States say that 40 to 50% of total passenger car sales will be electric by 2030. And that might seem kind of far away, but I mean, not really. That's only about 6 years away, 5.5, depending on how you're looking at it. So that's coming up really quick. And these aren't just projections. We're already starting to see these numbers come to fruition. A lot of the stats that I'm going to show you now are from aggregate data from 2023, but we're already seeing in 2024 that the numbers are skyrocketing, especially with the advent of a used vehicle or used EV vehicle market, which is now way more robust and additional options coming onto the marketplace that aren't just the traditional electric vehicles that we're seeing. So from 2022 to 2023, we actually saw a 52% increase in electric vehicle registrations. I mean, that's huge. You look into other industries, this 52% increase is going to be just magnanimous for you. So we looked at 5.2% of total electric vehicle sales in 2022 were electric. That's already at 7.4% in 2003 and projected to be 10%, a little bit early than we had originally projected already in 2024. And just a little tidbit that's not in this presentation, but I thought was a cool fact. The number one selling vehicle, not electric vehicle, but the number one selling customer or consumer vehicle in 2023 was actually the Tesla Model Y. So that is amazing to see. It's the first year that that's ever happened. So just to kind of show you what electric vehicles are doing right now. Now let's bring it home, right? So Americans are seeing that, there's cleaner air, healthier environments, all the things that I think a lot of us on this call probably already know: greater local energy independence, lower fuel and maintenance costs, which everyone loves, and a stronger and more technically advanced and competitive economy, right? If we're less dependent on fossil fuels from other nations, we can generate our own power here and become less dependent on other places to get that. But why workplace charging, right? So you have charging at home, you have charging in the wild, but a lot of people don't. If you live in an area where you're not able to have convenient workplace or convenient charging on your commuter route or in your neighborhood, or if you don't have the ability to install at-home charging or adequate at-home charging, you might not really have great access to electric vehicle charging infrastructure. So workplace charging can really help to bridge that gap. So polls show that 74% of current EV drivers have a desire, see a need for workplace charging, But the more interesting statistics is that 60% of those people that were surveyed, they actually need this. And these kind of fall into this category where they don't necessarily have adequate home charging or charging in the wild that is convenient for their commuting path. So workplace charging, again, can help bridge this gap. And, people want EVs, they need EVs. It's not just a desire, it's becoming something that people are going to start expecting. But what are the benefits to a workplace or a municipality or an organization, right? What are the benefits that you actually get? So as I was talking about earlier, this is going to become less of a desire and a luxury to have, and this is going to become more mainstream to have some form of electric vehicle charging or some incentives for electric vehicle charging for your employees. So as you start to see top tier talent in a variety of organizations are going to start looking at this as something that they expect. So retention of top tier talent, satisfaction of that top tier talent, and obviously there's lower fuel and maintenance costs instead of spending on gas. You can kind of do workplace charging in tandem with fleet charging. We'll talk a little bit about that later to help save even more money on your fueling costs there. Obviously, there's range confidence, right? If you have an employee that commutes 50 miles into work, 100 miles into work, maybe they might not be too confident if they can't get back home if there's not adequate charging. Even if you drive 25 miles to work, and maybe you're not the most responsible person about charging up your car, workplace charging can help ease those fears and just help you, again, retain some of that talent. Obviously, there's alignment with sustainability goals. A lot of us are having more robust goals right now for sustainability. These can all help you to achieve those goals. Healthier air, not only for your employees and for the people that work at your business, but also for the communities that are involved, and also just reduced barriers to owning an EV, helping people that don't necessarily have adequate charging infrastructure have another option. So maybe now getting an EV is a more realistic option for them. So this is the Justice 40 map. I won't dwell too much on this, but this map, these programs really do have a focus on making sure that there is justice and equity in the transition to electrification. So a lot of the little red areas that you see there, some in California, are really high concentration of charging stations. But a lot of the areas within the United States do not have this. Ideally, we would like to see charging stations within 10 miles of pretty much every residential neighborhood, just like we see gas stations. We want to even see it more like that. And that's the point that we'll start to get the charging infrastructure that we'll see. And it's not necessarily going to look like gas stations. It'll look a little bit different in terms of how we actually execute these and logistics. But the point is that it should be fair and equitable, and they shouldn't just be in Beverly Hills, in Manhattan, and in the richest neighborhoods in Manhattan. We want to see this come to rural areas. We want to see this come to areas that don't are traditionally left behind in technology, and workplace charging can help, again, bridge that gap. So when we look at charging access, again, for the Justice 40 program, it's something that our program focuses on, but it's not necessarily the only thing. So you don't have to be in a Justice 40 area to take advantage of these programs, but we just want to let people know, again, that if you are in a disadvantaged area, these kind of programs are built to help you all. So I'll talk a little bit less about the whole industry, because I think a lot of people on this call are very familiar with the industry in general, and I'll talk a little bit more about these Charge at Work programs. So again, we're funded by the Department of Energy. We're a national program, so everywhere from Honolulu, literally, to Buffalo, New York, everywhere in between, we're working with. So whoever you are, if you have friends, associates that work in other areas, they can also take advantage of these programs. So the Charge at Work program is the initial program as part of the two workplace charging programs. And I like to say this is kind of a concierge. We want to help spur greater EV adoption. Again, I have nothing to sell you. We want to expand access. We want to create this self-sustaining market and show people that we have all of this interest in it. And the Charge at Work program helps to inform individuals, governments, businesses about incentives that are in your area, whether this be in Arizona, national programs that you can take advantage of, private industry programs that you can take advantage of. We work with, whether it be Walmart or whether it be a small mom and pop shop with a parking lot. We want to help get you started, get you off the ground, and overcome those initial barriers to entry. We also provide technical assistance. So whether it be terminology, whether it be researching different things, whether it be preparing for a grant application, we want to provide you with whatever technical assistance that we can. And again, all of this is for free. We like to serve as a concierge, and also the two kind of meat and potato part of this project that I think people are most interested in are our project builder and also the site assessment. So I'll talk to you a little bit more about the project builder. So the Project Builder is a project management tool. It gives you access to robust charts and graphs so you can wrap up all this data and really plan out your project, bring it to any stakeholders that you need. It'll allow you to see the charger cost, how long it might take to install. Should I get level 2 chargers or maybe level 3 chargers? What is a level 2 charger compared to a level 3 charger? What are the incentives and rebates that are in my area? How long will this take me? Will I need trench shoring? Will I need to tear up my parking lot? All those questions to get you started, this project builder tool really gets you through that first step. And again, we can walk you through this. It's a pretty self-explanatory tool, but if you have any needs or any questions, we can help work you through this. And again, this is completely free. There's no charge. There's no subscription fee. There's nothing like that. This is a tool for you to use to get off the ground in hopes of developing a better infrastructure for workplace charging. So once you build out your project, you can then go into the site assessment process. So the site assessment, I think, is really cool. It's a completely free program. Again, we allow you to have just our partners come out and they'll take assessment. Do you need new conduits? What kind of capacity do you have? Do you need to connect with your electric company and kind of find out some more things here or about X, Y, and Z? Again, getting you off the ground or helping you overcome the issues that you're stuck on to get your project moved forward into the implementation stage. And again, this is a free site assessment, whether you have, let's say you're like Karen Apple and you have sites all over the city and you need to have 35 different site assessments, or you're one large campus with one kind of sustainability department or a EV charging hub and you want to have that particular building certified, we can work with you on that as well. And we can get that site assessment going for you. Again, free assessment is one of my favorite parts of this program because it's usually the part where, people get stuck on how do I even get started. So I'll talk to you a little bit more about these. We talked about the need for American drivers. We talked about the project builder tool, and I'll just show you a little bit more about the robust tools here. Again, graphs and charts if you need to wrap this up and bring it to stakeholders. So I want to talk to you a little bit more about our resource center. So again, we have all of these at our disposal. So in Arizona, I'm not going to talk over Karen Apple because I feel like she's probably told you a lot bit about the incentives. SRP, I'm glad to hear is on the call. I know there's a lot of incentives going on in Arizona. There's a lot of work to be done, don't get me wrong, but there are some incentives, especially some of the local charging incentives and the rebates that you can get for installing charging at your home. There's some commercial incentives that you can get in Arizona as well for installing charging at your workplace. So I advise you all to kind of take advantage of those programs. And again, you can reach out to the Charge at Work program and we can assist you with either getting connected with those, answering questions about how they are. So again, this is the Charge at Work program. You can find more at chargeatwork.org, and you can reach out to me as well. I'll provide all my information. So if there's anything that you need more of an explanation on, I can definitely help you out with. But just to kind of put this all into summation, the Charge at Work program, free National Department of Energy funded program. It provides you a site assessment to get you started, a project builder tool to really work out your project and get you from not knowing what to do or having some trouble to get to the implementation stage. We really want to get chargers in the ground, and we want to help you do that, whether it's a month from now, whether it's 3 years from now. This program is the concierge to really help you do that. So I want to talk to you a little bit, and we can answer any questions about this again later, but before we go into any questions, these are some of the people that we work with in Charge at Work as well: governments, organizations, businesses. It's pretty much open to everybody. Just to give you a little story here, EVNoire is a remote first company. We have absolutely no physical facilities, and we were able to participate in this program as well as the next program that I'm about to show you about, which is our electric vehicle adoption leadership program. So the Charge at Work program is a concierge, gets you started, it gets you going. The electric vehicle adoption leadership program is the back end of this program. So this, or of these two programs. So this is to recognize you, whether you have one charger installed at your facility of 1,000 employees, or you have 1,000 chargers installed at your government buildings. If you have any kind of incentives that you have for employees, anything that has to do with electrification, we want to recognize you for this. This is similar to kind of the LEED certification for buildings or the Energy Star certification as well. So again, this is the Electric Vehicle Adoption Leadership Certification. It's a program that provides technical assistance, again, just like the Charge at Work program, and really recognition of businesses, organizations, and governments that are adopting clean transportation. And that doesn't necessarily have to be electric chargers in the ground. Again, it's a blue ribbon recognition program funded by the DOE. You can earn bronze, silver, gold, and platinum levels of certification for exhibiting your commitment to electrification and electric vehicle adoption. So just a little bit more about this program. It's collaboration between Plug in America, Electrification Coalition, EVNoire, and of course Ford. So EVNoire really serves as a communication partner for this program, along with these other great organizations that are really trying to get the word out. And again, these are free programs, nothing to sell you here. We're really trying to bolster the industry in itself. So becoming a leader in electric mobility is pretty easy. There's not too much to do. There's a 15 to 20-minute questionnaire that you fill out. It just kind of asks questions about, hey, what kind of infrastructure do you have installed? Are you incentivizing employees for owning an electric vehicles? Are you kind of incentivizing them for charging their electric vehicles? Are you providing any kind of public transportation? Do you have micro mobility options? Do you have anything that's for electrification? I'm working with a bank right now in Washington, D.C., which actually has electric shoe shine machines. And we were able to give them a couple points for that because it does help for commuters that are coming in. Hey, why not? Why don't we help out our employees for that? So any kind of efforts that you all have made towards electrification, the Electric Vehicle Adoption Leadership Program is set to do that for you. So again, like 20% of Americans and even higher percentage of low and moderate income drivers live in buildings that don't have access to off-street EV charging. So this Electric Vehicle Adoption Leadership Program is, again, just to bolster this industry. Our goal again, is nationwide acceptance of electric vehicles and really to develop the industry there. So as we were talking about with that questionnaire that you fill out, you can get points based upon your answers. Very easy. Again, EVNoire, remote first company, absolutely no physical infrastructure. We were able to get bronze certification. Karen Apple, I'll use her as an example there. She has several locations that have been certified. Say have some bronze certifications. We don't tell Karen because she wants all certified, silver at least, but she does have some silver certifications, and we're trying to get them as high as possible and get some other of her locations certified for either gold or platinum. So not terribly difficult to achieve. And for some of our higher certified platinum certifications, we are doing some case studies, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. So again, employees from all industries are taking advantage of this program. You don't have to be a government organization. You don't have to be a small, large, medium-sized business. Anybody that's in an organization, as long as you're not like a home-based business, you're perfectly eligible to participate in this program. So the process is really simple. Again, you register your organization, you apply for the eval certification, which is that 15 to 20-minute questionnaire. You send that in, and I can expedite your applications for you. This is a really quick process on its own, maybe 2 weeks, if that, and then I can expedite that process for you as well. And I'll connect with you all individually if you'd like to after this, and I can make sure that that process and that certification comes back quickly for you, because I have one thing that I think you can really use this for that I'll talk about in just a bit, that I want everybody, especially as we start getting into a lot of this money being pumped out for the NEVI money, I want everybody to be able to use this kind of as a tool. And then you'll receive your certification, your certificate, and then you're good to go from there. The program itself, as we start to expand the program, will allow greater access to even more resources as those become available. And again, this program is free. So the certification process, that questionnaire, just again, wants to understand your e-mobility, what micromobility you have, what access to electric vehicle charging do you have for fleets or for your employees. So we give, again, recognition, resources, and more access as things expand. And for our platinum certified programs, we are trying to do more marketing, more free marketing and promotion through LinkedIn, through social media channels, as well as case studies to help provide you free marketing. And just, again, to show how much efforts people are putting in different industries to use as examples to really kind of inspire other organizations, businesses, and governments. So the eval certification is completely free. After November 1st, it will be a cost similar to the lead certification of businesses. Now, if you certify anybody on this call, anybody that gets certified before November 1st, the program is free to you now, and it's free to you in the future. If you were to certify after November 1st, the program will then have a cost to it. But if you were to certify now, November 1st, it's not going to cost you in 2024. It's not going to cost you in 2025. So it's, again, completely free program for right now. No recertification later unless you would like to. So for instance, if you get a bronze certification and let's say in August you install 10 chargers and you're like, hey, I want to charge for a higher certification. Again, completely free to recertify before November 1st. After November 1st, it will be an additional cost there. But yeah, so these are some of the organizations that we've worked with. I haven't updated this chart in a little while, so there are more. We're starting to get into the hundreds now. So a lot of organizations have come on. I'm really interested to see a lot of schools, a lot of colleges and high schools have been really interested in this. So great program. You'd be in great company with this. Again, I like to reiterate these programs are free to get started. You can get started today. It's not going to cost you a dime. So if you have any questions, any concerns like that, please let me know. You can find out more about the eval program at evalcertification.org. And again, the first program is the Charge at Work program, and you can find more about that at chargeatwork.org. We'll also send out additional information on both websites, as well as some explainer documentations, a copy of this presentation, as well as my contact information. So if you have any questions, we can follow up later. I want to thank you guys for allowing me to present today. I love this workplace charging conversation because I think it's huge in terms of where we need to go to really make electrification the thing that we do. So I'll open it up to any questions, and I'll pass it off back to our moderator and to Karen if you have any leadership there.